Before actually jumping into code and writing it, what I wanted to do is show the Pep8 Python standard. Now, you may be wondering while you're looking on the screen that you have no idea what any of this means or what any of this means, and that's perfectly okay. At this point, I actually don't expect you to know anything about Python. I don't expect you to have used Python at all. Some of this is going to appear a bit confusing. Now, don't worry. Like I said, this video is not for you to already know Python. It's really just to get out that Pep8 standard into the world. Now, the reason why I wanted to do this is because there are a ton of training videos out there from a Python perspective and just from a general programming perspective. And what they do is they just jump right in, like, what's a variable, what's this, what's that, but they don't actually tell you why you're writing it a certain way. And that's exactly what I want to do in this video. So again, don't worry about what a function is, what a method is, variables, how to write them. Really, just in this video, what you want to do is understand the actual layout of the code. And I'm going to show you a few web pages, and then we're going to take a look at an example in PyCharm. So the first thing that I want to show is the indentation. So when you're writing any type of Python code, there must be an indentation in the functions. So for example, as you can see, what this is essentially saying is this and this print statement belong to this function. And let's say, for example, the print statement wasn't indented under the function, it would be separate. It would not be a part of that function. So anytime that you're writing any functions, anytime that like there's a method, for example, chances are if you want it inside of that method or that function, it'll have to be indented. Now that's just a standard, and as you can see, the indentation standard means you can use 4 spaces per indentation level. So that's either 1 tab or 4 spaces. Let's go ahead and go over to another page that I really like, realpython.com. Awesome resource. And I just want to look at a few keywords. First keyword is function. So functions use lowercase word or words separated by underscores. So for example, let's say I had a function that was called Mike Func. It would be Mike underscore Func, all lowercase. Second we see here is variables. Now variables use lowercase single words or a word, and it's separated with underscores to improve readability. So let's say I had a variable and it was called Mike variable. It'd be Mike underscore variable, all lowercase, just like these examples here. Third that we're going to see is a class. So class, they start out with a capital letter. So for example, let's say my class was called Mike's class. It would be Mike with a capital M and class with a capital C together. It is not separated by keywords. Do not separate. The next we're going to see is a method. And a method is essentially just all lowercase words or words, or word or words, and they are separated with underscores. Okay, just like this example here. Then we have constants, and constants use an uppercase single word or words. Modules use short lowercase word or words separated with underscores to improve visibility, and packages use short lowercase word or words, but they are not separated. So with that, let's go ahead and open up PyCharm and we're going to take a look. So I have some code here, and again, I do not expect you to know what this is. These are libraries that are being imported, okay? This is a variable here. It's calling the azclimb method. It's printing it out to the screen, and then the azclimb method is calling another method called invoke, and then it's running a command, and that command is going to list all of the virtual machines inside of this resource group. But again, please don't get too caught up on that. We're really here to talk about the standards in terms of what the code is supposed to look like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to mouse here, and I'm going to make a method or a function. I'm going to call it Mike Func. I have 2 parentheses here. Do a colon, enter. Now automatically PyCharm is going to put me 4 spaces in or 1 tab in. So let's just go like this, and let's do print hello. Okay, I'm gonna put single quotes around this. Okay, and let's go ahead and let's look at this error for a minute. Indent expected. So what this is saying is Python explicitly assumes or wants anything. If it's a print, if you're invoking something, if it's some sort of method or some sort of variable being used, like let's say for example we had a variable and we vary equals, same difference here. So still the indent is expected. Okay, now we can delete that variable and we just have that print statement. So now we have this function here, okay? But what happens if, say, enter, and I have a print world, okay? Now, as you can see, I have no error here. So I'm gonna take 5 seconds, and what I want you to do is I want you to think about maybe why this is occurring. Okay, so we have no error here, which means our code will compile, it'll build, it'll run. Now that's because even though this print right here is underneath the function, it's not a part of the function, okay? The reason why it's not a part of the function is because it is not indented. This code is not indented, so this is by itself now. So at this point, even though it looks like it's right underneath it, so it's part of it, this print statement and this function are two separate entities. They live in two separate worlds right now. They do not know who each other are. This print method does not work in this function, nothing. So now, let's say for example, I tabbed. Now, you can see that this little method came up here. And now both print statements are available inside of this function, and both print statements would be available. Okay, so let's take a look at another example. I'll take this code here and go right underneath. I'm going to say def az cli parentheses colon. Oh, let's fix my spelling. Oh, let's do that one more time. Geez, I cannot type today. All right, now I'm going to enter. Okay, so now we see 3 lines. We see a variable, we see a print statement, and we see that az cli is invoking a command. Okay, so let's go back here and let's do this again. Let's do boom. Okay, now we have 2 errors. What does this mean? So the first error is an indent is expected. Second error is unexpected indent. Now what this means is there is a line, the first line, okay? This first line is not indented, which means it is not under the function. And the second line here is indented. So what this function is saying is, wait, I got some code here, I got some more code here, but the code right underneath the function, it's not doing what it's supposed to be doing. So to initialize that function correctly, that code has to be available underneath the function. So indent that and boom, we're good. Now I'm gonna do this again, okay? So 1, as we can see, unresolved reference version. What that means is Python saying, I don't know who the heck this version guy is, whose version? And the reason why is because version is inside of the az cli function. Print is not, it is not tabbed. There's no tab complete. It does not exist in this function. The az cli function has no idea who this guy is here. Now, if I go here and I look at the az cli error, I click on this, and if the error decides to pop up, again, an unexpected indent. So that's because there's an indent here, there's no indent here, and there's an indent here. So now at this point, Python sees, yep, that's my code in my function. Nope, that's not my code in my function. Wait, what's that? I don't even know what this is. So now if I said, for example, tab Boom. Now that error goes away for version, and version now knows what version is. And azcli.invoke, that method, it knows where its code is. So if I, for example, do this, now there's no error. Boom. Same thing that we saw under Mike Funk. So these two statements here are under the azcli. Now this azcli.invoke, however, it is no longer part of the azcli function. So as you can see, the Python indentations and kind of where the code is supposed to be, it can start to get pretty cumbersome, especially if you're used to other types of code, like, I don't know, maybe some Java or some C# or some Golang. The problem is that a lot of these programming languages have brackets, and that's where where your code starts and finishes from a function and a method perspective, and classes and stuff like that. In Python, it's a little bit different. It's more about white spacing than anything else. In the next video, we're going to go ahead and we're going to jump right into the hands-on stuff, and we're going to start writing some code together. Thank you so much for joining me in this video. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next week. Thank you.